So you're hiking somewhere in the mountains and you encounter a coyote, for instance, or a mountain lion or a bear. You're not in the mountains, you're somewhere where you encounter a bear. What do? I'm going to let you know right now. But before that, I'm sure you've probably seen the video of the zookeeper that got roughed up by the panda. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I felt like the zookeeper did wrong and how that situation probably could have been avoided. Let's start with the situation with the zookeeper that got roughed up by the panda. If you have not seen the clip, I'm going to play it right here. Again, the first mistake the zookeeper made was panic. So if you ever encounter wildlife, I have encountered coyotes on some of my nature walks, on some of my wildlife photography walks, and I don't panic. I mean, I want to panic. Don't get me wrong. Your first instinct will be to panic, but do not panic because guess what? We're all on survival instincts here. You are on survival instincts. The wildlife is on survival instincts, and everybody's kind of watching and saying, oh, who's going to make it out of here? Everybody wants to make it out alive, including them. So their first thing is not to attack you. Animals usually will only attack if they feel threatened, right? And if they feel that they can win. Most times, if an animal does not feel threatened or if it does not feel that it can win, they leave you alone. And this goes for snakes too. You find people get bitten by a snake. It's not because, you know, the snake just felt like biting you. It's because maybe you stepped on the snake or you came too close to the snake and the snake felt the need to protect itself. Now let's go back to the zookeeper and the panda. The zookeeper made one big mistake, and that was panicking when they thought that the panda was going to get out through the door. And instead of reacting in a sensible way, they panicked and immediately tried to shut the door to the exterior of the panda habitat. They tried to shut the door, and while they were doing that, ended up shutting the door on the panda. Even as a human, you'd be pissed off if somebody shut a door on your head. So the reaction the panda gave the zookeeper was very, very, in my own opinion, it was an expected reaction. I actually thought it was going to be worse than that, but the panda kind of just gave the zookeeper a little roughen up warning, like, hey, look, that was not very nice of you. And I totally agree, because if you're a trained zookeeper, you should know better than that, right? You should know when you get into the enclosure, make sure that you secure the enclosure. Don't leave it open. Don't leave those kind of chances of for the panda to get out. That was your first mistake. And your second mistake, again, I said first mistake was panicking. The first mistake was leaving the enclosure open for the panda to be able to get out. And second was panicking because they realized they made a mistake. And now this wild animal that does not understand the concept of, you know, I need to stay here, wants to get out, or wasn't even really trying to get out. If you look at that video carefully, they were just like kind of curious. And then you panic because your human instinct says, oh, this thing's going to get out. It's going to get into the zoo and it's going to cause a lot of trouble for me. And then the panda goes ahead and roughs, just kind of gives a little, I called it love tap. I know it's not funny, but it's like, I want to feel bad for the zookeeper, but again, I felt like they made that mistake, you know, and they put that panda's life in jeopardy. And a lot of people do that, where we go to certain places that we know there is going to be wildlife, and then you do things that, you know, might be detrimental to the wildlife. And then when they react, then they're looking for cougars to shoot down, because again, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. And we've heard cases of, I'm not a big fan of, you know, if you go into the mountains where mountain lions are and something happens, and I'm not a big fan of them being hunted down because something happened, right? Because it was not their fault. I don't believe if you go looking for wildlife, you have to know that there's risk involved in looking for wildlife. Now, if you encounter wildlife, or if you know there are certain places that wildlife is going to be and you encounter them, you have to know what to do. So we're going to talk about that. All right. So the first thing they should not do is what? You should not panic. The second thing that you should make sure you do in the case, always make sure you study where you're going, right? If you're going to be in the mountains where you know there are mountain lions there, you have to study, what do I do if I encounter a mountain lion? A simple Google search will help you. What do I do if I encounter a coyote? I'm going to give you an example. I've encountered coyotes, again, like I said, on some of my wildlife walks. And what did I not do? I did not panic. As much as I wanted to panic, I knew not to panic because I knew panicking would be the first problem that I would have. The second thing I did was because I knew with coyotes, just don't turn your back and do not run. I stood still, and me and this coyote looked each other down. It had its child and female coyote with it. Was a male coyote. It was a family, 3 of them, a male, female, and the baby. And he stood there and watched me while the female coyote and the baby got away. And I understood. I get it. You know, you're going to protect your family, and I'm 100% with you on this. So I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to wait and let you protect your family and let them get away. And when they got away, what this coyote did was just turn around and took off. And I heaved a sigh of relief because, again, I stood still and I was no threat to this coyote, and he realized I was no threat to it, and it just went away. So you're going to have those type of situations. And let's say you encounter, you know, a bear, for instance. Again, if you know you are going somewhere where there is going to be dangerous wildlife, always do your research. Get on Google. What do I do if I see a wild bear? If I see a grizzly, if I see a black bear, if I see this, always make sure you do your research, because if you're not doing your research, you are going to be putting these animals at risk because you're coming to where they are. You're leaving your house and going to where they live. You're going to somebody's house and you're going there to respect how they live. Because if they see you, they're going to think you're a threat and they're going to react to that threat. So what do? You make sure you know what to do. Let's say you see a grizzly or a bear. You know that you have to make yourself bigger, because you don't want them thinking, because they're huge, right? I've seen a video of a guy that encountered, I think it was a grizzly or a black bear, I can't remember, and he was like making noise and just kind of making himself bigger, and eventually the grizzly or the black bear, can't remember what it was, went away. Now, again, there are instances where things go south. I'm not saying it doesn't. Even if you take the right precautions, things can go south. So I always advise people, don't do these things alone. Don't go on trails by yourself. And if you do go on trails by yourself, make sure you have things with you like a phone, something where you can reach somebody. Don't put yourself in unnecessary danger. And you also don't want to put the wildlife in unnecessary danger, because, again, human life is usually valued more than wildlife. So you'll see situations where, you know, a coyote bit somebody minding its own business, felt threatened, bit somebody, and then they go and kill the coyote. Poor thing, because it was just minding its business, and this human came to it where it lives and was a threat and felt threatened and attacked. Now, some people complain about coyotes taking their cats and their dogs and stuff. Now, so this is, for me, a very simple solution. If you live somewhere that has been built where these animals live, you live up in the mountains somewhere, you bought a home where they built houses where it's the original habitat of these animals, you cannot expect them to not behave like what they are, to not have their natural instincts. Naturally, they're going to go look for food. Naturally, they are predators. Naturally, your little cute puppy is a meal. So what you do not do is leave your dog out at night when they hunt, because most of the time you will find coyotes hunting, or mountain lions or whatever. They hunt at night. And you know why they hunt at night? Because they want to avoid you. They do not want to see humans either. They do not want to put themselves in danger. They want to avoid humans as much as they can. So do not leave your little cute puppy outside at night and then say, oh my God, a coyote got my puppy, boo-hoo. That is your fault. That is not the coyote's fault. That is not the mountain lion's fault. That is your fault. That's poor puppy, because you caused it by being a negligent owner. Now, I'm not saying you personally, but you get what I mean, humans. So again, when you are encountering wildlife, you always got to know that they're going to work on instinct, right? I'm going to go to a safari and jump off the safari truck and say, oh, you know what? Lions are cool. They've been seeing humans on safari. So I'm going to just jump off and go say hi to Mufasa. I'm not going to do that because that would be what? Extremely stupid. But again, when we when we interact with wildlife, we always have to keep it in mind that, you know what, our actions can also cause them harm, and we should not do things that could be detrimental to them. So, like the lady that shut the door on the panda, making mistakes like that can harm wildlife. So whenever you want to go somewhere, you want to go hiking, you want to go in the woods, you want to go somewhere where there's going to be more than birds, because birds are so lovely and they, you know, most they'll just peck your eye out. I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, because it could happen. A bird could actually peck your eye out, right? So if you're going somewhere where there's going to be wildlife, always make sure you do your research. Don't say, oh, I'm a human, I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm smarter. No, it does not work that way. Always make sure you do your research. That's the first step in protecting yourself. I want to go look for wild horses. Wait, let's talk about wild horses. So this is totally off topic. And I've been doing research because, again, I want to go get pictures and do video and do like a little documentary about wild horses. But I heard recently that they have been rounding up these wild horses and just kind of just doing really bad things in regards to the wild horses. So I will be doing a lot more research on that, and I will be telling you all about it. I still plan to go look for the wild horses, but before I do that, I will be doing my research and talking to people and seeing what is really going on. What is the situation with the wild horses? Why are they being round up? The government and the people lobbying for them to be round up. And I'm going to be calling people out because, again, why can't we just leave things alone? Why do we always feel the need to be in control of everything? Like, oh my goodness. Anyways, I digress. So back to how to keep yourself safe out there if you encounter wildlife. Wherever you're going, always make sure that you do your research. When you see things like a coyote, just make sure you do not run. Big bear, not Big Bear, the city, Big Bear, grizzly, black bear, bears in general, make yourself bigger. So again, every single wildlife has its own thing. So I'm not going to go through a comprehensive list of what this thing is. Just go out there and do your research and find out, okay, what do I do? If you want me to do a comprehensive list of what these things are, tell me the wildlife and I will do it. Maybe I'll just do like, 5 wildlife at a time. Like, what do you do if you see a tiger, a lion, chimpanzee, fox, or something like that? Maybe I can do that in a later video, right? But this is like a general video. So, and the second thing, don't panic. Absolutely do not panic. And third, just try as much as possible to respect their space. You see some people going to get up close. Oh my God, it's a mountain lion. I'm going to get up close. No, you're not. Because that is stupid. It's a wild animal. And this wild animal will attack you because it does not understand what you're thinking. It does not know your plans. It cannot read your mind. It just sees you as a threat. You see it as dangerous. It sees you as more dangerous. So it's going to protect itself. And it's going to be stronger than you because they have those big old teeth and big old fangs and everything that will tear into you. And then they get blamed for it. Not cool. That is how I responsibly take pictures of wildlife. I don't go looking for trouble. If I encounter wildlife, if I know I'm going somewhere, I research where I'm going first. And if I do encounter something, except that one time that a deer jumped over my head, I did not expect that. Now that is a story for another day, and I will tell you all about it one of these days. Anyways, I hope you have learned a thing or two from this particular vlog about what to do if you encounter wildlife out there, no matter where. It could be in your yard because you live up in the mountains, and it could be on a safari because you decided you want to go see lions, and it could also be on a hike. You spotted coyote. What do you do? These are some of the things that you should do when you encounter wildlife. Do not panic. Make sure that you know exactly what to do when you see the kind of wildlife that is present in that region. Always make sure you're knowledgeable and watch my videos because you will learn a lot. All right, that is going to be it. If you have any tips for anybody out there on what to do when they encounter wildlife, please join in. Let me know. I don't know it all. I'm learning along the way as well. So anything that I bring to you are just things that I've picked up because of my wildlife photography and filmmaking. These are things that I have picked up and I'm sharing with you because I want you to be safe. And I especially want the wildlife out there to be safe. And I don't want them being harmed because a human decided, I'm going to make a bad choice and then it's going to affect this animal. All right. So drop a comment below if you know any tips or if you have any questions. All right. I will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share all my little wildlife adventure ramblings. And do not forget to watch my documentaries, Documentary Mondays. It's going to be, I haven't decided if it's going to be once a month now or twice a month, but it's looking like once a month. Documentary Mondays about different wildlife, nature places, and all sorts. It's fun. Don't forget to watch that on my channel as well. All right. Bye.